Wow, that is goosebumpy. My name is Daniel Fisher. I'm here at Sweetwater Sound, and I am enjoying this TC Electronic TC2290p dynamic digital delay way too much. It is just so much fun. It is so beautiful, and it is so stereo. I've decided I'm not going to go through every single button and parameter and do all that today. If you really want to see all that, put in the comments that you want to see a deep dive on this thing. What I want to do now is just give you the most general overview and then get to playing on this thing. I've also got Colton Kreuzer, one of our sales engineers. He's going to bring a guitar and play as well, so you get to hear how great this is on multiple instruments. So first I have to talk about the history of the 2290. Back in the mid 80s, I remember going to studios and seeing this thing in a rack size, and I remember how much I wanted it. It looked like nothing else in the rack. And then decades later, I saw this on Mitch's desk, and my brain told me that it was the coolest looking guitar pedal in the world, but it wasn't. This is actually a controller for the software version of the 2290. But now, finally, there is a pedal version. It is stereo in, it is stereo out. It has lots and lots of wonderful features that we'll talk about in a different video. But the key thing is that this was developed in the era when CDs were just coming out, and all of a sudden you couldn't have hissy delays. You couldn't have things that weren't high fidelity, because right away you'd hear the distortion or the lo-fi-ness of things. And so that's why the 2290 was invented. And now here we are. And as you've already heard from the intro, I just played some of this beautiful all analog Pro 800, which sounded awesome by itself. But then when you put into this, I've always been a huge fan of true analog into full high quality digital for your DSP. I think that is the best combination. So I'm going to start with a string sound, and I'll do that dry. And then I'm going to go into this, and I'm using a very short delay time, and I'm modulating that. And a short delay time modulated and added back to itself makes flange. So I've got a really beautiful flange that's also panning at a different time. I've got modulation going at a different rate, and I have some dynamic delay over that as well. And it's just creating this very beautiful, very 70s style ambient flange. Okay, so now I'm going to play kind of a plucky sound, and I'm going to play that into a much longer delay, 666 milliseconds. And again, I'm going to have some randomization of the pitch. I've got some panning going around. The randomization will cause some chorusing. I've got the delay inverted. It should be a very interesting sound. So. Okay, for this one, I'm going to use a longer delay, over a second, lots of feedback, ridiculous amounts of panning, a lot of dynamic reaction, and I'm going to be playing a cluster chord from this keyboard. Well, as you can hear, it just stays musical. It is a beautiful, beautiful delay. You know how much I love delays. But now you've got to hear this on guitar. So let's throw it on over to Colton.
Thanks, Daniel. Today I'll be playing my G&L Fullerton Legacy through the brand new Universal Audio Lion Marshall 68 Super Lead amp emulation pedal. So to show the dry sound, nothing affected, just my guitar, here's what we're working with. Now with the 68 Super Lead Lion on. So to start off, we're going to do something really dramatic with a short delay, using a lot of modulation for almost a flanging and pitch shifting effect. This time around, I'll be using a 1/4 second delay with some modulation and panning, really good for soloing. So here we have a 70s style delay with some modulation and some panning. So here we have a long delay with a lot of feedback. We can almost treat it like a looper and stack things up for really fun playing effects. So here I'm using the reverse mode to create a swell effect. So here I'm going to use a very dramatic slow panning effect for really neat ambient sound. So here I'm using a slapback style delay with a little bit of modulation for some chorus effect. So this time I have a 1/2 second delay with some really lush modulation for a good chorus stereo effect. So here's an example of using the dynamic effect in the pedal to introduce rapid panning when I stop a note. Back to you, Daniel.
Thanks, Colton. That sounds amazing. If you have any further questions about the TC2290P or the Behringer Pro 800, please contact your Sweetwater sales engineer. And if you want a deep dive on this thing, make sure you let me know in the comments. My name is Daniel Fisher. Thank you very much for watching.